702.
The Open Line.
So if you'd also like to get in touch with me on X, or what's formerly known as Twitter, my handle is at @motso_modise, at @motso_modise. That's at MOTSO_MODISE. This is the Open Line, so get in touch with us. What's on your mind? It is Christmas Eve, and I know that at this time of the year, we are trying to kind of calm down from the busy year that we've had. The news cycle is also really settling right now. Things are rather calm. The only thing that's really open at this time of the year are those police stations, magistrates' courts, but everything else really is very, very quiet. And speaking of the courts, I do see that the suspects that have been arrested in two top stories that have been making headlines are going to be appearing in court today. The first one is in that Salisbury shooting that happened in Tshwane. The suspects that were arrested, they are going to be appearing at the court in Pretoria. And of course, we've got the suspects arrested in connection with the murder of DJ Waras also appearing in the magistrate's court today. And I think it's great that arrests have been made. I was saying that, it does feel sometimes like with high-profile matters, arrests are much quicker. I don't know if it's just me who feels this way, but with high-profile matters, there just seems to be it moves. But you hear ordinary people who have cases that sometimes are even solvable, that seem like they are solvable and easier to crack. And the system that just takes forever. Imagine if the same effort of investigating and, prosecuting was put into the everyday man's case, and not just these high-profile cases. However, we are grateful that there are arrests. We are grateful that there are arrests in these cases. Of course, that Salisbury massacre that happened at that hostel a few weeks ago was really, really horrible. 12 lives claimed and 13 other people were injured. A 32-year-old man appearing in court today. He was arrested on Monday, and that marked a breakthrough in that case. And I think it's great. We've been speaking about the spate of shootings, of mass, it seems, attacks of some sort in the province of Gauteng. And there seems to be a policing issue, if you ask me. But also there seems to be more than a policing issue. There seems to be a crime issue, and I don't think that we have a proper strategy on how to address crime. These crimes never happen in isolation. They're always linked and intertwined. But yes, we're grateful for that arrest that's happened now, and all eyes are in the magistrate's court there. And then, of course, in the DJ Waras matter, we also know that there's arrests there. Waras laid to rest yesterday in Johannesburg. A very, very sad, what happened there, extremely sad. I was watching the funeral procession yesterday in the program, what I could catch after the show. And I must say that he was loved by many. It's very, very unfortunate what happened there, and hopefully there'll be more breakthroughs, and we'll get to understand not just the people that have been arrested, the alleged gunmen. When it comes to the DJ Waras matter, clearly there are masterminds behind this, and the mastermind is who we need to be arrested. Yes, it's great when there's gunmen that are arrested, but they seldom lead us to the mastermind. But yeah, hopefully in this instance, it will be a step closer towards getting to the mastermind. All right, get in touch with us, 011-883-0702. We're taking your calls. And then it's Christmas Eve. It's such a happy time of the year. If you know me, there are two things that I like in my life. And Tobela, our technical producer, is here in studio watching me, waiting for me to say what these two things are. The first one, Tobs, that I really, really love, that's close to my heart. If you want to make me happy, The Lion King. I want to go see The Lion King on Broadway. I love The Lion King. It's my favorite movie of all time. And I collect Lion King themed things. So Lion King themed cups. I just love The Lion King. And I hope I can share that with my daughter and she'll love it as much as I do. But the second thing that I love is this time of the year. The Christmas time is just such a beautiful time of the year. The lights are absolutely amazing. If you haven't been to the Johannesburg Zoo to go see the lights, please go and see them. I've also seen that there are other places where there's Christmas lights. At Mauro's Arch, there's lights. And there's also lights, I believe, in Empress Palace on the East Rand. So there seems to be lights in different parts of the city, which is fantastic. But on that theme, now that it's Christmas and you are I hope you're enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it. How are you going about buying your clothes for your children? Do you believe in buying designer for your young ones? So there are two schools of thoughts that I'm aware of. Number one, the first school of thought is the fact that there are people that say, if I'm looking good with fancy designer, and I look good, my child must look just as good. And then there are people that say, yeah, but this child didn't work for anything. This child did not work for these, for as hard as I did. They must work, make their own money, and then start buying designer. Also, some people feel, and I think I'm part of those, who feel that, you know what? There's no need. This child doesn't even see that this thing is designer. They don't see that it's designer. They don't recognize that it's designer. So why must I even buy that for them? And it's more about the parents, I think. If you're a parent that buys fancy clothing for your children, and at this time of the year you're going to be buying brands for your children, I want to hear from you. What's your school of thought when it comes to this? And how do you approach this? And how do you reason it out? Because for me, I struggle with it. I'm not going to be buying the fanciest clothing for my child. And I just think that they don't see it. And until they can actually see it, maybe when they're 5, 6 maybe, and they can articulate that they want something nice, I think I'll hold it off for some time. So I'm taking your calls on 011-883-0702. I see we've got voice notes. Let's take a listen.
Yes, with regards to the DJ Waris case, kudos to the cops for getting those suspects. But I think you're being unfair on the police. We mustn't paint everyone with the same brush, really, because there's a lot of hard work which is being done. I think the only reason that we know that the suspects have been apprehended is because it's a big case. It's all over the news and stuff. But there's good work which is happening on the ground as well, which is not televised or reported on radio. Because I think there's a narrative that police are not doing are doing a shoddy job in South Africa, and it's not all of them. So let's not paint everybody with the same brush. No man, nobody.
So this is to me. How far are the police with the investigation of the murder of Witness Day? It's been quiet. People are getting arrested, but we don't hear anything regarding the murder of Witness Day. Good morning.
Thank you so much for those voice notes. Yes, okay, I hear you. If you're saying I'm being unfair, I take it. I do think that there is work that's being done. I do think that some police do a lot. And you're correct in saying not all police. I do think, though, that when it comes to high-profile cases, there's greater focus. I don't know. That's my observation, and there's more effort. Or maybe it's because these are stories that we are following actively, right? But sometimes you'll hear people speaking about how they went to the police station for whatever case, or they opened a case against this person for whatever matter. And only when it gets media attention does it then move. I don't know. Do you think I'm being unfair? But I do agree that there is good work that is being done by police. I think the justice system is really, really burdened. And it's very challenging currently in South Africa when it comes to the criminal justice system, because the numbers, just the sheer numbers, I mean, the numbers in our prisons, and then there's also the getting through these cases. You sit in the magistrate's court sometimes and you hear how many of these cases are remanded, and there's new ones that are being enrolled, and there are dockets and files that are there in court that need to be processed. And every day there's a new accused. The criminal justice system is extremely burdened. So I am sensitive to that. And then when it comes to Witness D, Thank you for that question. I've been asking myself the same thing. In fact, I'd heard a few days ago that there was going to be an arrest. There had been mention, and I can't remember where I heard that, but there had been mention of a potential arrest for Witness D. This was just after his funeral. But there hasn't been an arrest. The manhunt still continues. Of course, Witness D is the witness that was murdered after his appearance at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. It's important that we say that he was murdered after, but we don't know if it was linked to the Madlanga Commission. Of course, it is being assumed that it may have been linked to that. And it's being assumed that, following his testimony there, he was then targeted. But we have heard since then that he was involved in other policing and investigations matters. I believe that he'd since moved from the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, and he was now working in private security. But there hasn't been any arrest as far as I'm concerned. And police are saying that the manhunt is still on. But yeah, thank you for that. In fact, I think that that's something to follow up. It's a story to follow up with the police, and I'm sure the EWN team is also taking a look at that. I'm taking more of your calls right here on 702-011-883-0702. I see a WhatsApp message here from Sipo saying, Khomotso, apartheid has been praised by some former freedom fighters for many reasons, but not blocking blacks to buy alcohol. Even our leaders, they label it township economy while destroying our lives. How many blacks are fighting and destroying each other today? I think that when it comes to policing and for alcohol in townships, that's just poor. There's a tavern at every other corner in the township. There's an establishment that serves alcohol every other street. In some places, it's every street. Everyone ubula sporto. And there's a big problem there. Clearly, there's no policing because I don't believe the bylaws allow that much alcohol sales in residential areas. And these are not bottle stores. These are taverns. What has been known as sporto, And it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. The policing is poor when it comes to that. And you even see police vans sometimes driving by and stopping at that establishment and taking bribes or going in there. I mean, what else are they doing? In fact, one day I've seen at one establishment what seemed very like a dodgy exchange. I wasn't close enough to view, but I saw a very dodgy exchange between the owner and the police. He went to the police van, and I assumed that this had to do with bribes to keep that establishment open. Because in residential areas in the township, it's absolutely insane. In fact, if you live near an establishment like that and you've tried to report it to the police, please get in touch with us because I know how bad it can be in the township. All right, I see some of your WhatsApp. Someone here saying, I told my son that because his feet grows very fast, we will get Nike Takis when he turns 18 years. And he's very happy with that. He's 11 years. I love your son so much. He's 11. 11 is a big boy, and he listens to that. Yeah, you have a very obedient son. That's lovely. I want to use the same strategy with my daughter and tell her, listen, let's wait a bit. But with many of the kids that I've seen, by the time they are 8, 9, even before sometimes, depending on the environment, they already know what designer clothing looks like. Mama, someone has it at school. I also want it, But the fact that you are able to keep your child comfortable with your normal clothing, I think it's very commendable. Give us some parenting advice. We'd really appreciate it. Someone else here saying, good morning, my sister. I'm enjoying nothing, my sister, about this Christmas we're having this year. I failed my family dismally. Failed to buy my kids Christmas clothes. I failed to give them a mere Christmas lunch. This December has just been bad for my family. I'm a total failure. I even have thoughts of taking my own life. Oh, man. Anonymous, I'm so sorry about this. You go on and say, I failed to take my kids to see their grandmother for 5 years in a row. My mother's on a dying bed because of brain cancer. If I was a child, I would ask Santa to help me to see my mother while she's still alive. I'm truly, truly having the worst December of my life. Life is not fair. I don't wish to see Christmas. I just wish that I can just die. Oh, Anonymous. That's such a... I think I'm so sorry that you're going through this, you know? I'm sorry, but I'm so glad that you're writing to us, that you're seeking community on this platform, because you are not alone. Number one, you're not alone. There are people out there who have suffered and are suffering what you're going through and worse. I wish you so much strength at this time of the year. Take this as an opportunity to take it easy. Everyone is kind of taking it slow at this time of the year. So, you know, just try find some rest, and you'll get back on it next year and re-strategize about how you can go about bettering the situation. I'm very sorry about your mother with the brain cancer. I wish her health. I wish her strength. And my heart goes to you. And I pray that you will find peace at this time. Oh, yeah. The reality is not everyone is having a great Christmas. So if you are having a good one, please count your blessings.
Good morning, KG. It's Mlefe here out in Katlehong. So where I stay, right, there's about 5 taverns. This is just around me, and then maybe 4 streets, right? And then there's 2 which have what they call Stokvels. So meaning that for 24 hours on Sunday, it's on. For 24 hours on Monday, it's on. Tuesday, the same. Wednesday, the same. So it's just a racket. The sound, it's like it's right here in your ears or right here next to your window, because they have these huge party speakers. And then, the police, they'll come by, take a bribe, then they'll continue for 3 days up until Wednesday. You're not sleeping. There's these taverns, there's drunk people walking all over around and, doing all sorts of promiscuous things in the streets, especially in the early mornings around 7 or 8. And that's when our kids are going to school. Yeah, so it is a real problem with the taverns. When I work sport, when I will call it
Hey.
Straight also.
I mean, I know, Mulefe, that you're not lying, because I've seen it. I've seen it in the township. I've seen how everyone can just pop up and build a tavern. People just sit under that place, and over the years, because it starts to look good and the money clearly is coming in, because the one thing that business is lucrative, then they start developing, and then that place is there to stay. Yeah, but in the early days, you can pray that maybe it will fade away, it will fizzle, and but once they start building, and the township economy is good. It's good that we develop the township economy, but the truth is, it cannot all be alcoholic or alcohol establishments that sell alcohol. What kind of community are we creating? What type of people are we making? The children that grow in that area, all they ever see as business opportunities are taverns. And the only thing that they see that represents having fun or a good time is alcohol. Surely that can't be right. And I'm interested, Mulefe, have you tried to report this? Because I can tell you, where my mother lives, back home in Soweto, we have tried, but nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. And in fact, the police hang around the tavern. So, yeah, it's very unfortunate. And I don't know how we're going to get through it. Let's take a quick call, actually. Or maybe we should take this call after the news headlines. I am seeing some of your voice notes coming in, and I also see your WhatsApps. I appreciate your communication there. Someone here saying, you think taverns in townships are busy? There's shops in Newlands that sells alcohol that's just as busy. Neverlands. I think someone says Neverlands. I'm not sure where that is. And the problem or the challenge is that these are all based on alcohol. It's based on alcohol, so No, it's a real concern. This is the 702 open line. We are taking your calls on whatever's on your mind.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good morning. This is Christy. Please, can you send me, or I don't know if it's possible, get banking details for Anonymous, the lady who feels like a complete failure due to her not being able to do Christmas lunch, etc. I would like to pay into her account a few rand, 1,000 rand. Hopefully that helps, and she can do something for her family. I would appreciate that. Thank you. You can WhatsApp me her banking details.
Oh, that's just so beautiful. Hey, thank you so much for that. That's in response to Anonymous, who sent us a WhatsApp, about the difficult Christmas that she's having there. Not being able to have Christmas lunch for the family, not being able to go home due to financial circumstances, and she's just having a bleak Christmas. And I it's just so beautiful to hear people come together. And that's the thing about the people that listen to 702. You guys just have this beautiful way of just rallying and coming together and supporting each other and supporting those in need. And I just want to say thank you so much, Crystal. And I want to open up to anyone else who wants to extend some help. We also would appreciate anyone who can refer to a psychologist, a therapist, so that Anonymous can get some help. And I hope that we'll be able to make this Christmas a little brighter for you, just a little brighter for you, Anonymous. But I'm certain that the 702 landers, the listeners of this show, are going to come out in their numbers and help and support you. Thank you so much.
702. Call us on 011 883 0702.
This is still the 702 open line right here on the Clement Manyathela Show. My name is Komoto Mudise. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Christmas Eve, and it's a beautiful time of the year. And I hope that you are having a lovely time with friends and family. You're getting some much needed rest. And if you are working, that's okay. We're here with you. We're also working. So let's make the best of it. I hope that you are getting some sort of rest, though, even though you may be working. Prioritize some downtime whenever you can and get pockets of joy wherever you can with your friends and family. There are ways that you can go about doing that. So please prioritize that for your sanity, because it can get very, very tiring. It can get very, very heavy to be working at this time of the year. All right, let's take some of your calls. I see Tsakani in Soweto. Thank you. You've been holding for a while. Good morning, Tsakani. Go ahead.
Good morning, Soweto. Hope you're doing well.
I am. Go ahead. Actually, happy Christmas Eve, Tsakani.
Yes. Well, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I'm covering everything.
Yes.
Hopefully hear each other next year.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah. I was just commenting about the noise level. I stay in Pimville. Pimville Zone 5 has been one of the quietest areas ever since, for the past 40 odd years. But now there's been a store, it started off as a Pick and Pay outlet, but now it's privately owned. It's got a store, a liquor, buy and buy, and then there's a side where they play pool. At the noise level at the pool table, you would think they're running a disco in an industrial area. The noise is annoying. They started on Sundays, I think pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you couldn't hear your own TV. You couldn't hear yourself think. Your own TV was numbed. Complained. They tried to deal with it. But now it's back. Like from the morning. It's like doof, 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 doof. And I'm like, no, that's crazy. And my siblings come home if they don't have power or inverters, they're trying to preserve that. They come here to try and work. You cannot work. It defeats the petrol, all the effort, all the, concentration on your work.
And have you tried? Yeah, it's okay. Have you tried to report this to the police? I'm sure you have.
Twice. Well, that time and this time, City of Joburg manager. You know what? I listened to her one time. She literally made. I was not well. She made me flare up because I was like, "You're not telling me anything." I reported it. I'm not sure who did a blitz, but the way this guy is so brazen, let me call it that. I was something like, I don't know, maybe 40, well, maybe 8 police vehicles.
Yeah.
And some of them not necessarily Metro or SAPS. He left them after for 2 hours and then he started again. I've reported to the main minars of the world while they were working. It's been a mess. It is still a mess.
Yeah.
You cannot make so much noise. I've even texted him. Obviously, he wouldn't take my call to say, keep your noise to yourself. Can you not blare through my windows? It is for your customers. You can play for your customers as though you're playing in a home.
Yeah.
And it's just not on. City of Joburg are like, but there was a blitz. I'm like, who commissioned the blitz? Who was in charge?
Yeah.
What did they find out?
It's really difficult, especially because you wonder why there's a difference in the policing and the law enforcement in the township compared to other areas. And I think that's the reality that many township dwellers have. People that live in the township, I can tell you from my experience with my mother also, where I don't know how many times she's tried to report it. I don't know how many times she's spoken to the police, how many times other neighbors have tried to report it, and absolutely nothing happens. But thank you for that call, Tsakani. That's Tsakani out in Soweto in Pimville Zone 5. And I do see that, we have more voice notes and callers also who are, speaking about the same thing. They're also experiencing that. And I don't know what the answer is to this. If law enforcement is not coming to the party, I mean, you'd never dream of doing this in other parts of this city. Never dream of opening just a random tavern in the middle of the road and just serving alcohol. That would never happen. But but in townships, it's okay. People just think it's okay. And you know why they think it's okay? Because they get away with it. They get away with it. So it's absolutely unacceptable. I'm taking more of your voice notes and your calls.
Hi, morning. So this is a seriously worrying problem. Alcohol is big in our townships and informal settlement. And now, even in rural areas, just look at the footage coming out of the annual Imigidis in the Eastern Cape and just watch how alcohol is celebrated. It is such a big thing, and this is a problem that as Black people we need to own and we need to confront openly. It is destroying our communities. We cannot be worshipping alcohol in the manner that we are doing. This is a crisis. It needs to be attended to. Thanks to Thabo Betrand.
Hi, 702. Mutso. We are in Deep Clove. I'm not sure if you know Deep Clove, but there's one particular street, Imeng Drive. There's just alcohol all over the place there. And as for reporting, when you report, you become a target at the police station that this one is talking too much, and we must deal with them.
Sure. Yeah, I know Iming Drive. I know Iming Drive very well. It's not far from my home. And, I was actually wondering when Iming Drive came up, whether that area was rezoned, because I'd imagine you'd have to have some rezoning. So it made sense to me when it became what it is today. It's almost like It's a road of establishments, filled with establishments, and almost like a long street that they tried to make. And the first thing that came to mind is what happens with the zoning here, because this is meant to be a residential area. And if you have a home on Iming Drive, because there are many people with houses there that they still live in, and houses that they don't want to sell, Kwakoko, where, it's family houses, people that have attachment to those areas. And they live there, and they live in that noise. It gets so packed on Iming Drive. And the first thing that we should be asking is this rezoned for what it's become? But you know what? It's not going to be asked in the township. That's not going to happen in the township. They'll ask it everywhere else, but not in the township. In the township, everyone is just comfortable with things as they are. And the police, they drive up and down there. The police vans, the Diepkloof police station is just down the road. It's just down the road from England Drive. And the police are just there, and they continue, and nothing gets done. It's truly unacceptable. Someone else here saying, hi, Khomzo, would it be possible for 702 to assist with a food voucher for this festive season? I've been struggling on the food side. I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for getting in touch with us on that. I am appreciating, and it's lovely to see how many people are coming out to help and support Anonymous from earlier on, who had been who'd gotten in touch with us with that message just about how she's struggling this festive season. So the producers are taking those calls. I've also been seeing a number of people who have been calling, not wanting to come on air, but have been calling to give support to Anonymous and give support in any way that they can, in the form of either money or a voucher, or psychological support. So that's really, really beautiful. And the producers are working on that. But thank you so much for that. It's just so lovely to hear the work that that everyone is doing, just coming together, rallying to support each other. It is Christmas Eve, and it's supposed to be a happy time. And if one of us are not having a happy time, it can't be okay. It can't be okay that some people have abundant or have in abundance, and others have absolutely nothing. That just takes away from our humanity. So when those who have more than enough come and support those who need, I think that's the greatest demonstration of our humanity. Thank you so much. I'm looking at some of your other voice notes and your WhatsApps. Someone here saying, good morning, Khomotso. In Sprague, there's a guy called, I don't think we should say names on air, but he says he closes the street every weekend and makes noise, and his people urinate on our walls. Yep, that sounds just about right. It sounds like exactly what I've seen. They urinate on our walls, well, my mother's walls too. They just urinate on the walls and on the flowers. It's really bad. And it starts smelling like urine. The whole place just smells like urine. And another problem that these establishments have is that because they started without being properly planned, then there's not enough toilets, but there's so many patrons coming in, and then they all use this one toilet that was meant for the residents, that was meant for the people there, the toilet outside. And now 40, 50 people are using this single toilet. It's definitely going to block. And once it blocks, then every other place becomes a toilet, unfortunately. Someone else here saying, the main problem with the alcohol is the binge drinking. People drink until they pass out, then do it all over again. Yeah, we do have an alcohol abuse problem in this country, and we have an addiction problem in this country. And I don't think we are as intentional about it. We allow the alcohol use so much. It's become, the previous voice note, someone saying that even emikidini and things like this, the alcohol is prioritized. In fact, if you want to have an event and say we don't have alcohol, people won't come. People don't come to your event. If you want to have a peaceful event this December and you want to just have a little party with your family or with your loved ones, and but you don't want to be that family member that people don't like because you didn't invite them, a way to not invite them is say, I won't be serving alcohol. I promise you, then you will save a lot. People won't come to your mkiti, or they'll just come and buy their own alcohol, actually. But yes, it is a big challenge. It's a big problem, and I don't think law enforcement is as sharp when it comes to alcohol and public urination. I don't think law enforcement is as sharp. We see people urinating all the time, and I think, where are the police? Sometimes the police van will drive right past, and people, are relieving themselves. But also, people walk around with alcohol in their hands, uncovered, and police will just drive past sometimes too. So it's a big problem. It's a big issue. I think we've got more voice notes. Let's take one.
Weighing in on the conversation about alcohol, I remember a time where it was frowned upon that someone drank. I look at people a generation above, in their 60s, Alcohol is such a detrimental thing in society. And back then, it was actually actively spoken about and spoken against. But advertising has permeated the media space. It's seen as something cool, something attractive. I think a lot of people are also suffering from alcohol dependency. Yes, you're still functioning, but you're drinking every single day of the week. It's Angelica from KZN.
Oh, thank you so much for that voice note. Listen, you summed it up so beautifully. You took the words out of my mouth. You gave me the words to actually say this, because it's true, Angelica. It's been glamorized, and now it's cool and everyone does it. And you're right. We come from a time. Previously, especially because of the, many of us having religious backgrounds also, drinking alcohol, people would drink, but they would oftentimes drink in secret. Now people drink even in front of their parents. Now people will have alcohol in front of their parents, open and exposed. My husband and I were speaking about this the other day, that I've seen people hide, from their parents. And he was saying, what's the point of hiding from their parents? And I said, it's the respect. Yes, parents know that people are doing these things, that you're doing these things, but there was the element of shame and respect and saying, I don't want to show, that I'm doing this. It was something to be ashamed of. And do I think it's something that you should be ashamed of? I think it all depends on your belief system. But I do think that the use of alcohol so publicly, out in the open, in the streets, shebeens and taverns everywhere, where children are, I think that is contributing to the alcoholism problem. We are breeding a generation of young people that are growing up and saying, oh, I can't wait to drink. And not, I can't wait to do whatever. I can't wait to go wherever. I can't wait to move out when I'm 21. No, it's, I can't wait to have my first drink. And that for me is a problem. That for me, it speaks to the crisis that we're facing. And the fact that it's being done so much in the townships, for me, is even more telling. Because it seems that there are people that it's been packaged for. The culture of alcoholism clearly is being paraded to certain groups of people more than others. If you can have law enforcement in a Sandton, in a Bryanston, in a Midrand, and you can stop an establishment that's trying to start selling alcohol just like this, illegally that is, right? So in a place that's not zoned for that, in a place where there's no licenses, why can't you do that in the township? Why? Yeah. Let's take this call. Tulani, you're in Centurion. You also want to speak about the alcohol problem. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kumut. I was saying alcohol is the only drug where we frown upon, or where we actually ask you why you're not taking it. If you're sitting with people and they're all drinking and you're the only one that is not drinking, everybody would be shocked that you actually are not drinking, and they'll question you. But you cannot sit with people and everybody asks you why you're not taking cocaine.
Yes.
So we have accepted this thing so much that we actually do not recognize that it is actually a drug. Absolutely. We think it is something. In fact, I was sitting with someone who used to be a manager at one of the breweries, and he used to call it's a social lubricant. That's what they call it. So the point I wanted to make was, it is the only drug where we would actually ask you why you're not taking it.
And
it is the only drug.
And the eagerness, Tulani, to share alcohol. The people won't give you food, but they'll give you alcohol.
Oh, absolutely. We will ask you why. but we would not ask anything else. But why ungaphuzi? It's the only drug where we basically ask you why you're not taking it.
Sure.
So we have accepted it so much in our society that it has become part of it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you, Tulani, for that. It's very, very true. Yeah. If you want to be uncool, don't drink. Or if you want to be considered uncool, don't drink. I can tell you now, people don't want to, they start avoiding you. In fact, if you want to lose some friends and you feel like you've got too many friends, tell them you don't drink anymore. I think you'll lose a couple. You shed some friends because that's where we are. But I've also seen how you can come to people and say, I need money for food, or I need food. And people will go, no, we don't have money, asna mali. But sit with people who are having alcohol. They are so eager to share that alcohol with you. They want to give you, they'll give you even the most expensive of their drinks. They'll pour it for you. For some reason, they want everyone to be drinking alcohol, but the things that we actually need, the things that people actually need, food, healthcare, support in other places in their lives, they don't do that. Let's take more voice notes.
Let me tell you, if South Africans planned for all the other 11 months as seriously as they planned for December, we would live in a completely different country. Thanks, it's tragic.
So short and sweet. So short and sweet, but so true. December is an event on its own, eh? It's a highlight at this time of the year. It's a theme, and listen, I'm that culprit. I also plan for December. I love this time of the year. As I said, I don't know if you heard earlier on, but this time of the year for me is just it's the most, as they say, wonderful time of the year. It really is. But just South Africans have made December an important feat in the calendar. It's a big feature in the calendar, and sometimes we're irresponsible around this time of the year, and that's concerning. I have someone here saying, you guys leave us alone who drink. We work so hard for this money that we're drinking. It's none of your business because we are not, what are you saying, my brother? You say we are not requesting anything from you. Drink your tea, coffee, and leave us alone. I think that... listen, you can drink, and this is not saying that people should or should not drink. I don't think that's what we're saying here, but I think that we need to start being frank about the alcoholism problem. Drinking responsibly is one thing, but I do think that currently things have gotten so out of hand in this country, and we need to be frank about where we are. With our alcohol use, we need to be frank about where we are when it comes to taverns. It's a big concern of mine, and I do think that at some point it's not going to get out of hand. It is out of hand, and so if you're drinking responsibly, absolutely go ahead. Spend your hard-earned money, but we cannot ignore the crisis. Let's take another voice note.
Hey 702, I really agree with Tulani. Because I was just thinking about it because I don't drink alcohol, but when I order drinks at the restaurant, 40 Rand for a cool drink is like a scam, like it's too much. Maybe 37, maybe 38, but 40 Rand, you're now scamming us, But when I look at the menu of alcohol, I look at the price range for alcohol, it's like starting price is 60. I even see drinks that are like, or cocktails that are like 150 Rand. Like alcohol is expensive, and I don't want to judge people who drink, but I will say you save a ton when you don't drink because alcohol is expensive. Blessing from Centurion.
Thank you, Blessing. Yeah, it's true. It is more expensive than your ordinary drinks. And I suppose that's why it's if you're trying to save money, maybe that's one of the things that you should consider cutting this festive season.
KG, good morning to you. There's now even an influx of these drug dens. People who are selling nyaupe and crystal meth and all those sorts of drugs. Every street corner, the same thing you will get, like the tuck shops. You will have the exact amount, if not more, of these drug dens. So in the townships, things are just out of hand totally. And the police know about these establishments. They will go there like without fail every day just to collect their paycheck. So it's bad. It's really, really bad. JD in the Val.
Thank you, JD. It feels like a losing battle. It really feels like we're losing because at the point where the police know If the people in the community know, then best believe the police also know. But they're okay with letting things continue in that way. They're okay. In fact, they encourage this and they perpetuate it by collecting the bribes and the money. And at some point, I remember having a conversation with a senior police officer in the province, and she said that we should be reporting this, escalating the reporting to the province now, because it seems the local police stations, where they are struggling, then we should try our hardest to even escalate our pleas and our cries. But at the point where the police even can be seen, many community members will tell you, I'm saying I've seen a police van park near an alcohol establishment once, and I thought that could only mean one thing. It's very, very concerning. Thank you so much. This is the Clement Manyathela Show, and that wraps up our open line. I appreciate your calls, voice notes, and your WhatsApps.